Welcome to the Money Mindful podcast, where money mindset and life coach Meaghan Jean Smith, hey, that's me, teaches you how to transform your relationship to money and achieve your life goals so you can live a glorious, magnificent, delicious, awesome life and love being you. Hello, and welcome to the Money Mindful podcast. I'm your host, Meaghan. So good to have you here with me today. I'm a little bit nervous actually and bubbly today. I want to share a real story for you that's happening for me right in this moment. So I'm not recounting something that's happened a few weeks ago and I've had time to calm down. It's literally just happened in the last half an hour and I want to share it with you because I know it's going to help you. But before I spill all the juicy details, I just wanted to give a shout out to those of you who have written a review lately. I've had quite a few new reviews come in. I've been asking you guys if you would write a review for the show, if you've been enjoying the show, and a lot of you have. And so I just wanted to say thank you. I really appreciate it so much. And it helps others find the show. And if you've been meaning to write a review and you haven't got around to it, but you keep thinking when I ask you this, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask you just to pause now and I'm going to tell you how to do it. If you click back onto your podcast app feed where all my episodes are and you scroll down to the bottom in purple, it's not a huge big button. It's just like a little link. It says write a review or leave a review. And if you click on that, you can write a review for the show. And somewhere just near it, you can just give it a 5-star rating if you don't have time to write a review. And I'm just going to say again, thank you in advance. And thank you to all of you who wrote reviews in the last month. It means a lot and I really appreciate it. So let's get into the episode. I'm sure you're wondering what story I'm going to share with you. So basically, a couple of months ago, I wrote an email out to my beautiful community who are on my email list, and quite a few of you got back to me with questions, and I'm not going to go into what the email was about now, but by the way, if you're not on my email list, what is happening? Get on there now. You can do that by going to my website, get my free course, and it'll hook you up with being on my email list. But one of my community wrote back to me, Diane, hi, how you doing? And she asked me, what are the challenges that I have faced on my money journey? And would I share that? And I have quite literally had one of my challenges faced today, this morning, and rather than give you some polished version of an answer, I wanted to just be really real with you and share what it's like for me with my challenges, my real challenges in working towards my goals, what that looks like and how that pans out. So this morning I did something huge towards my business goal that I've got at the moment. And that is that I finally signed up with a podcast producer that will be editing this episode that I'm recording right now, and will be doing all the post-production stuff on my podcast. And for me, this is a huge up-leveling in my business, and it's been a long time coming. And it's also been something that is really scary for me. And I've felt nervous about it for a long time, and I've been putting it off, to tell you the truth. This is a real challenge that I have been facing in my business towards my money goals, is that I am at capacity pretty much. I'm fully booked out. There's more things that I want to do. There's more ways that I want to create for you to be able to work with me. But I haven't been able to do those things because I'm spending a lot of time working in my business, being a technician in my business, doing things like editing my podcast, doing all the post-production, all those little things that take up a lot of time that I've known for a long time that I've had to outsource that. But I haven't because I've been afraid. I've been afraid of taking that next level of investment in my business. And it's been real. Like it's, like I can intellectually talk to you and say that, of course it totally makes sense for me to outsource these things and I know it's going to be fine. But there's a part of me, there's in my body that has been afraid to take this next big step, right? Because symbolically, it's a big move in terms of I'm really stepping into that CEO energy of my business. Like I'm outsourcing stuff. I'm not doing all the things, right? On another level, I'm getting help and I'm receiving help and I'm letting myself receive help. And then also I'm investing in my business, like cold hard cash, right? And so there's fears that come up for me about, am I going to get a return on that investment? And so this is a very real current challenge that I've been facing, and I really wanted to share it with you and just let you in on, the inner workings of what's happening with me in my business, in my mind, how things work and how I overcome them and how I move forward. And I also want to share other challenges that I've had in answer to Diane's question in the email about what are the challenges that I've faced on my money journey. So I wrote a few notes down of the main challenges that I've faced. And this is probably the big main crescendo, the one that I should put at the end, but I'm going to tell you straight up. The biggest challenge that I have faced in my money journey has been to choose me. And this is the biggest thing that I see come up for my clients as well, is that when you want to create your money and life goals, like if you want to double your revenue in your business, if you want to start a business, if you want to launch a new product in your business, if you want to invest in a way to generate income passively, right? Like in your life, one of the biggest challenges that I've faced and that I see others face is choosing me, like saying yes to me. Like I'm worth it. I choose me. I choose to believe in me. Man, that's fucking hard. It takes courage. It really does. And, all of you business owners who are listening right now, I know you get it. I know you understand. Like it's a big deal. Choosing yourself, like choosing your dreams, choosing what you want, saying, yes, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to back myself. I'm going to believe in myself. This is the work. I mean, don't you reckon? It's kind of like the hardest thing, like really believing in yourself and choosing yourself. And, just relating it to the story of this morning, like, getting a podcast producer on board, like that for me, that is totally about choosing me. That's totally about believing in me that I'm worth it. I'm worth investing in. My business is worth investing in. This podcast is worth investing in, right? I'm choosing me. And that has been probably the biggest challenge in moving towards my money goals, because in leading into my second thing that I was going to say, it's about believing ahead of time, right? Believing ahead of time that the work and the actions that I'm going to take now will pay off, because when we start a business or when we go after goals in our business, I mean, I'm referring to business a lot because that's, that's a main thing if you want to create more money in your life, having a business is like the most obvious way to be in control of how you can bring in more money in your life. Of course, you can do it through investing. And even with investing, it requires that you need to believe ahead of time, right? You need to believe that what you're going to do is going to work out before it's actually happened. We don't always know the how, right? We can't predict how our business is going to go. We can't predict what direction the stock market's going to go in. We have to believe ahead of time in results that haven't happened yet. And again, one of the biggest challenges that I've faced. And, this is what I work with my clients on, but that doesn't mean that I'm immune to it. It doesn't mean that I don't go through this as well. So I've written about a list of about 10. I don't know if I'm going to get through all 10 of them, but the next thing I would say that has been one of the biggest challenges that I've faced is learning to trust myself and learning to trust money. And, you can probably tell like all of these kind of relate to each other and they overlap, but there's something really powerful in trusting yourself. And Diane, if you're listening, I hope you are, because this episode's pretty much dedicated to you because you wrote in and asked this question. I haven't always trusted myself, like when I've been pursuing things that I want to pursue, I haven't always had that trust in my abilities. And it's something that I've really had to develop and learn and practice and foster. And if you think about it, a lot of people don't have trust in themselves because we're not brought up that way, right? Like when we're a little kid, we always have to defer to our parents, and then we go to school and the teacher knows best and they're the oracle of wisdom, and anything that we need to know, we sort of have to run through them and check. And it's like society's not set up for us to have that self-trust, right? We're always looking externally. And so that's been another huge challenge on my money journey. And, I'm just thinking, if you thought that I was going to talk about things like having discipline to save or whatever, it's totally all mindset. Because I'm telling you, when it comes to creating your money goals, so much of it is mindset. You're capable of doing the actions required, but it's the mindset behind it. And if we relate it to me outsourcing my podcast stuff this morning, that was a matter of sending an email and then getting on the phone and having a conversation. I'm very much capable of sending an email to someone to say, hey, can you do my podcast? And then having a phone conversation with them. But it was the mindset stuff that I had to overcome to do that, to be ready to feel like, yes, I can do this. I'm ready to invest in my business in this way. So the next thing, and this leads on beautifully to another point that I wrote down, one of the challenges that I have faced is being willing and being okay to invest in the support I need. I have done a lot of stuff in my life the hard way. I've thought that I've had to do it all myself. I've thought that, I should know how to do this, or I should be capable of doing this. When in actual fact, when I started investing in getting help, like, joining programs, for instance, like developing new skills, but then also investing in support. I always have some form of coach, like whether that's in a one-to-one program when I'm working with a one-on-one coach, or whether I'm in a group program or a mastermind or a membership. I have never done this on my own in the span of my business when I've actually been having success. I've done stuff on my own before, and I can tell you that I haven't had a lot of success. And that's not because I'm not capable of it. It's just I haven't been able to get out of my own way, right? And doing things on your own is so much harder. And when you invest in support, like whether that be a community, a coach, a program, it's like you're saying yes to you and yes to what you need, and you're being open to receive, and getting over that first hurdle to invest in myself the first time. That was probably one of my biggest challenges. But once I started to see the benefits of getting the support that I need and what a massive difference that makes, now I would say it's much easier. It's much easier to invest, and it's much easier to invest large amounts in myself because I can see now, I've got evidence and I've got proof. But before I did that the first time, that was really challenging for me to believe ahead of time that would pay off. Can you see how all these things, all these challenges I've faced, they all relate to each other? Believing ahead of time, learning to trust myself and trust money, investing in the support that I need. And then the next thing I would say that's been a big challenge is to be patient. It's probably not what you wanted to hear. Being patient and going at my own pace, staying in my own lane. So I've had conversations with people, and this always blows my mind, where they're just blown away by what I do, right? They're like, oh my gosh, you've achieved so much, you've done all this. And in my head, I'm thinking, really? Because, I'm always on to the next thing and thinking about the next thing. And I always feel like my progress is so slow, right? But it's only slow if I compare myself to others and look at other people's paths. But when I stay on my own path and in my own lane and do things in my timing when I'm ready to do them, it's right when I'm ready to do it, right? I couldn't have signed up to get somebody else to work on my podcast earlier than today. And I mean, yes, physically I could have done that by, booking an appointment a few weeks ago or 6 months ago or a year ago, but I wasn't ready. Mentally, I wasn't ready. Like, it happened today because today was when it happened. Today was when I was ready for it to happen. And that, my friend, is super challenging when I get caught up and find myself looking at what other people are doing. That can actually slow me down. And I'll just give you a little tip too. Like, sometimes when I'm working on new things in my business and I find myself getting distracted, I mute. Like, I mute other people. Like, there's lots of other people who are in my environment who I love and adore. But if I find myself getting triggered, like, oh, they're already doing that, I just mute them on social media for a little while so I can just give myself some peace and not get my knickers in a knot and not get triggered by that. So yeah, being patient and just staying in my own lane, doing things at my own time has been challenging. Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. All right, so let's keep moving on. This is a good one. Whew. All right, this is another thing I've learnt the hard way, is learning to put my health and well-being and nourishment first. And listen, if you asked me directly if I was putting my health first, I'd be like, yeah, of course. But if you actually have a look at my behaviors in the past, I'm a bit of a workaholic, I've come to learn. I didn't really know that. It was transparent to me, and I would often put my goals and things that I wanted ahead of my own well-being. And if you're a mum, I'm sure that you can relate to this, because you can bet your bottom dollar I did this with my kids too. Put my kids' needs ahead of mine, and my health and my nourishment was sort of always last on the priority list. And that has been a big challenge that I really have had to overcome. And I think it's something essential that we all need to overcome, because the more I've learned to take care of myself, like before the end of today, before school pickup, I'm already in my gym gear right now. I'm recording this podcast. I've got my running leggings on and I'm going to go for a run before I pick up my kids. Now that might mean that I might not get all the work done that I want to get done today. I don't know. I mean, I might get it all done, but I'm going to stop and I'm going to do that, because I know that when I look after my body, I feel amazing and I have way more energy. But that is something that I never used to do. I would just put it off. Like I wanted to go out for a run or do something like that, but I just didn't do it because I put my work first, my goals first. But then when you do that, it's like you're putting your goals, you're reaching your goals at your own expense, right? And then we get into this sort of and or game. It's like, well, you can earn the money that you want, but you're going to be burnt out, right? That was the path that I was taking. That is something that I'm still continuing to work on, and I probably will. I mean, all of this stuff that I've just said, I'm continuing to work on it all the time, like in various stages of just wherever I'm at in my evolution of life. But learning how to nourish my being, like my actual physical body, has been, it's taken some work, guys. It really has. And I wasn't always on board. Like I could understand it intellectually, like, yeah, it makes sense. Like eat good food, exercise, rah, rah, rah. But to actually put it into practice is no joke. Like stopping working this afternoon, I'll tell you now, it will still be, I know that I'll get to my limit of time that I've got before I got to pick up the kids, where I really have to be firm with myself and just be like, no, I'm going for that run, go. So yeah, is still a work in progress. So what else? I'm just checking out my notes here that I've got for you. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. This is a challenge that I've most certainly faced, is being okay about doing it badly. Ooh, oh my gosh. Okay. This is for my perfectionists. I see you. I love you. I'm right there with you. I know what you're going through. Any goal, any money goal that you do, or life goal or business goal, mate, you're going to be shit at it in the beginning. Seriously. It's just, that's how things roll. You don't just think about when you first learnt to drive a car. You didn't just jump in the car and know how to change the gears and you're like, yep, rock and roll. Here we go. I'm driving a manual car and we're all good. No, you bunny hopped that thing. You stalled it 1,000,000 times. You know, that's just how it goes. You know, I've done so many things badly. I'm sure I've put out plenty of episodes that, you know, aren't perfect. I'm sure I've done coaching sessions that, you know, weren't my most amazing coaching sessions, but it was the best that I could do at the time. You know, my marketing material, my emails that have gone out, I've done all of it badly, right? But I've just kept doing it and I've been willing to do it badly. And even just saying that, it sounds kind of weird in the sense that it's not that I'm trying not to do it well, but you have to give yourself some grace when you are wanting to produce new things in your life. If you've got big, bold, juicy, brazen goals that you're going for, like if you want to double your revenue in your business, for instance, that takes courage and that requires you to do things that you haven't done before. And so it's challenging to be okay with doing it messy, like doing it badly, right? Like that is a legit challenging thing to do because, you know, I get it. No, what? I'm the same. We don't want to do it badly. We want to do an amazing, great job. But the thing is, perfectionists, I'm sorry to say that if you have to do a perfect, amazing job, then you're never going to get it out there. And you know that the way that you get to it being perfect and being beautiful and like a really high quality, whatever it is that you're achieving, is by practicing and by being bad at it in the beginning. man, I just feel like I'm really doing this podcast naked today. I'm just telling you all the things. But here we are. And here's another thing actually that has been a real challenge and something that I had no idea about either when I started my money journey, so to speak. And this goes right back to, when I first invested in property and everything, I had no connection with my body in the sense that I thought I was just a head floating in the air, I was always in my head. And the truth is that we're not just heads floating without a body. I hope you're following me here. We're an animal, right? We have bodies and our body has sensations. And sometimes we cut ourselves off from our body and our sensations, and our body is kind of scared to do stuff, right? You feel like fear or nervousness or worry. And one of the challenges for me is learning how to connect back with my body and my nervous system, and learning how to soothe myself and comfort myself so that when I go for new big things, I'm not actually literally terrified, scared and not able to take action because I'm scared in my body. Now, I hope that you can relate to what I'm talking about, because this is still relatively new to me, I guess, in the span of grand scheme of life. But that's been a huge challenge for me, just learning how to be more connected to my body and my nervous system and work with myself and be able to create safety for myself to do new, big, crazy, courageous things because I'm listening to my body and not trying to steamroll myself into things. Because, I've heard people say stuff before oh yeah, I just wanted to do this thing in my business or, start a business or release this new product or whatever, but I just felt sick, and sometimes I think, yes, we do feel that sort of sick feeling, but I think that also stems from just being disconnected from ourselves and not knowing how to give ourselves comfort and do things from a safe place. And that has been a massive, I guess, growth part and big challenge for me to come back into my body. Am I getting too woo for you here? Because this is actually something that's really significant, and I work with my clients on this because I think it makes a huge difference, and it all relates, all the things that I've just told you today, learning how to soothe my nervous system, be in my body, that also relates to trusting myself, right? Listening to my own voice, coming back to me. So if you thought that I was going to tell you about, the challenges I've faced in terms of talking to banks or I don't know, doing accounting. No, the biggest challenges, as you've learned from today, have all been mindset stuff that I've had to overcome to reach my goals and, my big, beautiful, delicious goals. And I mean, this is how I've done things like double my income because I've gotten over these challenges. Now, I need to really preface that by saying it's not like I've gotten over them and I'm never going to have them again, and because you won't either. It's an evolution. It's you need to believe ahead of time every time you go to do something new, right? It's going to come up for you every time. And then when I do the next thing in my business, for instance, like today, investing in getting help with podcast production, that's every time I do something like that, it's a new level of trusting myself, trusting that the money will be there, that I'll create that money, trusting that it's okay to receive and get help, being patient, doing it all in my own timing, all these things relate. So there you have it. I hope that has helped you today. It's been a challenge for me to record this episode today. I'm going to be honest. I feel naked when I do episodes like this, when I really tell you all the stuff that's really happening for me in situ in the timing that it's happening. Like I know you know this already. I share lots of stuff with you, but it's already happened. So I sort of feel like I've got time to integrate it. But this has been huge for me today. I mean, this has literally just happened half an hour ago before I recorded this episode. So it feels very raw, but I want you to know about these real moments, and I hope that it inspires you to just get going with your goals, with your dreams. Just do it, right? I'm doing it too. I'm doing it alongside you. Maybe I'm doing it a few steps down the track than you, but challenges can be overcome, right? Like you can face challenges and step over them, right? Like obstacles are only obstacles when you first get to them, but we learn how to climb over them. Like it's no big deal. And, I'm still here. Nothing bad's happened. The floor hasn't opened up underneath me. I've done this great big next leveling in my business. It feels amazing. I feel equal parts nervous, like jittery in my body, but then also freaking excited, guys, that like I'm stepping up in my business in this way. So I'm going to wrap up now and just say that if you are loving what you are hearing on the podcast, you really resonate with me, if you would like support, one-on-one support to create your money and life goals, the next steps for you to do is book a consultation with me. We will chat. You'll be able to tell me all your challenges, what you're facing. I'll get a gauge for what support you need to help you move forward. And if I know that you're an amazing fit for my one-on-one program, I will invite you to work with me. So go ahead and book a consultation now. There'll be a link in the show notes or on my website. Until I get in your ears again next week, have an amazing week. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Money Mindful podcast. For future episodes, be sure to subscribe. Ready to take the next steps? Creating your money and life goals can be super challenging if you don't have a process to follow. Get my free course that will help you get unstuck, clarify your goals, and get you going. For more info, go to meaghanjsmith.au.